Welcome everyone to your favorite show, Andi Show! And we're your favorite host, Andi Balcázar.
Welcome everyone to Andy's show. Today we're going to be speaking about a very interesting topic. We're going to talk to some archaeologists about some discoveries they just made from Charles Darwin. So let's welcome our very first guest, Sofia Blanco!
Because I'm happy all alone if you feel like a home without a roof.
Hi Sofia, how are you?
Fine, you?
Fine, thanks. So, I can see you hurt yourself.
Yes, playing.
Oh. What were you doing?
Just chilling.
Alright?
Yes.
Fine. Please take a seat. So, before we can start talking about Charles Darwin, we're going to see some message from Arena Monterrey.
This 28th of November, Arena Monterrey and For Life invite you to Martin Garrix's concert. 2 tickets will be raffled here, so go now!
Back to Andy's show. Now, as we know, Sophie is a very successful student from Tecnológico de Monterrey. She's studying history there. And as we know, she's working on her thesis and she chose to talk about Charles Darwin. So, Sophie, can you tell us a little bit about Charles Darwin?
Of course, yeah. To begin with, we can say that Charles Darwin was a very young naturalist. At the age of 22, he made a trip in the HMS.
But rumor has it, we've heard that you and your team from Campus Eugenio Garza Lagüera made a very important discovery.
Of course, my team and I found a very old VCR from the 19th century.
Let's go and watch it.
Did you hear, Lady Marian?
What, Lady Elizabeth?
Some naturalists went to the other world.
I heard his name is Darwin.
Charles Darwin.
How's your husband doing at work, Lady Jacqueline?
Oh, marvelous, Lady Aurora. He's doing great. He's investigated a new species that Darwin brought from the New World, I think.
Do you know the purpose of such journey?
He went to collect and record geological and biological diversity.
Thank you very much, Sophia. It was great having you here.
It was a pleasure being with us.
Now, we're going with the specialist on this topic.
But first, let me get something.
Welcome back to Andy's show. Now, I'm going to present you Dr. Jacqueline and Dr. Sandra. Hi, thank you very much for being here today. Now, a little bit earlier we had Sofia Blanco as a guest, and she introduced us to the topic of Darwin. Now, she mentioned he went on a voyage. Can you tell me what happened on that voyage?
Well, before the trip, he believed that species didn't change over time. But it was after the trip when his purpose changed and also his point of view. He saw that species do change over time and become due of natural forces. That's when he discovered evolution. That's why he's considered the father of evolution. And to understand better this term, we will play a short film about it.
Perfect. When DNA is being copied, errors can occur which modify the DNA code. This is what we call a DNA mutation. These mutations, which happen completely on accident and randomly to any part of a DNA strand, can produce variation in the body shape and function of the creature who inherits the modified DNA. In this case, our new little friend has an arm that stretches extra long. If he survives long enough to grow and reproduce, that extra stretchy arm, which is now coded for in his DNA, will be passed on to his children. Charles Darwin and Alfred Russel Wallace independently discovered that a breeder is not necessarily needed. There is another force capable of guiding random evolution to produce order and complex function. They called it natural selection. Descent with modification is the observable fact that when parents have children, those children often look and behave slightly different than their parents and slightly different than each other. They descend from their parents with modifications. Tortoises on the Galapagos Islands can be distinguished from those of Africa. Meanwhile, with the exception of size, they are almost identical to a species found nearby in South America. Darwin believed these similarities could be best explained through common descent. Long ago, a tortoise from the mainland may have drifted to the islands, possibly on a raft of storm debris, and once arriving, laid her eggs. Random changes caused by descent with modification over thousands of years eventually transformed the island creatures and the mainland creatures so much that they could no longer be considered the same species.
His theory about natural selection explains the unity and diversity of life on Earth, how all species share a common ancestor, and how all species adapt to various habitats and ways of life.
So, can you tell me what was happening with other scientists? What they thought about what Darwin was discovering?
The scientists of the 18th and 19th century were interested of knowing the nature of diversity. They wanted to know where everything came from. This was a time of exploration to understand Earth's diversity.
Thank you everyone for watching us today. Now it's time to end our show. And I want to thank you three for being here and for being a part of the show today. Next week we will have the winners of the tickets for the concert on Arena Monterrey. And thank you very much for everything.